Hello, I'm back. Don't expect this to become a regular thing. You already know, one upload a year, on average, if you're lucky. Or if you're unlucky, it depends on how you look at it. Today, I want to talk about Sonic CD. I like this game, I like this game. I like this game, I like its story, I like its vibe, I like the music, I like everything about it. And I've been on a story analysis kick for the past all of my life, so we're going to talk about Sonic CD today. A lot of people sort of know from a first glance what this story is about. It's pretty on the nose with what it's trying to do, but there are a couple of little extra wrinkles in there that I want to talk about today, because I like this story. So let's talk about Sonic CD. It's nuts. And I think the best place to start will probably be the setting. Little Planet. It's pretty cool. I like Little Planet a lot. Basically, it's a little planetoid that appears over the Never Lake, which is this lake right here, for 1 month out of the year or something like that. And then it disappears. It just goes off wherever it goes, who knows where, and then it comes back whenever, and it stays for like a month, and then it disappears again. It's like on a cosmic cycle kind of thing. It's very interesting. It's very like magical and unique. It very much fits the like early, I don't want to say classic Sonic, like the 90s Sega Sonic kind of vibe, where everything is kind of like rubber hose, but also kind of Studio Ghibli, kind of, where that line that sits in, that's where that kind of goes. And so on that principle, I like Little Planet. It's like South Island, which moves around in the sea, or Angel Island that floats in the sky. It's really cool. The reason I want to go into this setting a little bit more than I kind of usually do is because this setting actually plays a little bit more of a sort of thematic role, if you will. Little Planet works as an allegory for our planet. Obviously, it's a very environmentalist kind of story. If you've ever read the Lorax, not like the Illumination movie, the story, the book that Dr. Seuss wrote. This game is very much doing that kind of thing. And so you'd kind of think, well, what's the point of Little Planet? Can't the story just take place on the surface world? Or on like its own island? I kind of agree, but I can imagine maybe Sonic Team didn't want to, like, in the event that you get a bad future, you just screw over the entire world permanently. It's like having it be on Little Planet. It's whatever. So, ultimately Eggman chains down the planet. He stops it from moving around and leaving, going wherever it wants to go. And Sonic finds out, and by the time he gets there, the planet's already sort of halfway through its sort of conversion into, whatever Eggman wants it to be. It's like a mechanical, industrialized, you can see it's got sort of a half and half situation right now. The natural sort of nature, the water and the plants and the animals, and then you have the machines and the smog, the factories, the pollution. You have the mining excavation sites in Quartz Quadrant, best zone. And yeah, Sonic doesn't like that, obviously. We've covered this before. Sonic is a very environmentalist kind of story, or at least it is up until this game, because don't get used to this theme. This is the last time we're going to get this kind of theme in full swing. Sonic 2 onwards is very, like, character-centric, and by the time you get into the adventure games, this theme is completely gone. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Sonic CD. Sonic leaps up onto the planet, or he runs along the chain, I guess, and there we go. We begin the story. And I want to quickly highlight, I don't want to go into every level. I had this whole, like, script last year of, like, going into every zone and stuff, and, like, talking about the culture and the angel statue, but that just kind of isn't enough to go off of. It's just kind of, like, world building without, like, it's more like flavor, background sort of stuff. But I do want to talk about the general gameplay loop for anyone who hasn't played, because it ties really neatly into the story. Basically, it's sort of a time travel game. Instead of getting from start to finish, left to right, you just go as fast as you can, like in most of the 2D Sonic games. You don't really do that here. You want to sort of comb through the level, and you go back and forth, you do a bit of backtracking. You try and find these signposts, and depending on, what's written on them, the past or the future, if you run through them and you keep your momentum, right, the M word, if you keep your speed up, you get like these sparks trailing behind you, And you keep that up for long enough, and you travel through time. If you go into the future, this is where the theme of the game gets really prevalent. It's screwed. Everything is screwed. Everything is like super polluted. The smog clouds, the sky runs red, and the water's all polluted. All the animals are scared and crying. And you get like this spooky dubstep dance track kind of music. It's, you know, it's unpleasant. I don't really like being in these stages, and it actually kind of turns me off from playing the game, because I didn't know how to, you know, secure the good future. And just seeing the bad future, it's like, the game makes it very clear that you're on the wrong track, but it's kind of the easy thing to do, right? You just play Sonic CD like you do for any other Sonic game, you go start to finish. In this game, not really, not really. You get punished for that, as you can see. What you want to do, you want to go into the past, you want to find these, like, Eggman generators that he's used the Time Stones, which are basically the Chaos Emeralds of Little Planet. Use the Time Stones to go back and put some generators up. What you want to do is you want to bust them up, and then, you know, in the present, if you go back, the generator is gone, and you can just go to the end and secure a good future. And little bonus, you can collect 50 rings, and at the end of the level, like in Sonic 1, you get access to the special stages, and you get the Time Stones, blah, 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 none of that is like super important for this. And this sets up the standard, the gameplay loop that you're going to be going through. You basically go into a level, you look for a signpost, you go to the past, and basically you're trying to secure a good future. And what's interesting about this, it's not played like a normal Sonic game. You're punished for being passive or being lazy and just going like, I don't really, you know, want to go out of my way to do all of this crap. I just want to go to the end. The game punishes you for that. And I think that's really interesting, but we're going to sort of loop back around to this in a little bit. Now, obviously, I've been talking about Sonic and a little bit about Eggman, but really the main sort of thing that everyone really likes about this game.
Sonic, dead or alive, is mine.
This is the first introduction of Metal Sonic, and he's so cool. Everyone loves, like, the, you know, evil robot clone trope. He's so cool, and he's evil, and he, like, people mistake him for Sonic because he looks like Sonic, but he's evil and he's so cool and he's so fast. But he actually does do some interesting stuff here, because you think about it. There's a plane outside. And his debut is also, like, one of the coolest things. This is the first game that Metal Sonic's ever been in, and so people at the time, you know, you're not expecting to see Metal Sonic. Then he just shows up and it's so cool, he's so badass. And he sweeps in and he takes Amy away from you. Oh yeah, Amy's in this game. I completely forgot about her. Hold on, let me check my notes. Did she do anything in this game? Oh, alright, okay, I've got something here. Amy in this game does, fuck all. Metal Sonic swoops in and he takes Amy away from you, and he just leaves, and he's so cool. And you kind of stop to think a little bit, and you're like, okay, well, cool robot clone or counterpart or whatever, and then you got, like, the industrialization stuff, and sure, that ties into that, but, like, what does that have to do with anything, you know? You can do anything, the main theme of this game, what does that have to do with Metal Sonic? Of all the games to introduce a robot counterpart...
Stop calling me a clanker.
Why this one? We will get to that. So we continue, and we kind of don't see Metal Sonic again for a really long time. It's only at the very, like, the penultimate level. Sorry, that's a big word. That means the second to last level. We get Metal Sonic and Eggman and Amy. We've seen Eggman throughout the story. You get Metal Sonic and Amy. And you're at Stardust Speedway, and I just want to quickly talk about this zone in particular, because it's just really cool. You have, like, you go to the past, and it's all, like, jungly, and you've got vines and stuff. But you see what Eggman's doing here, and it's, he's turning it into like a city, like a metropolis. You got, like, I don't even know if it's a metropolis, you got like an amusement park stuff. You got Ferris wheels, you have like roller coasters, you have the big thing of like Eggman's face. It's like, it's really interesting, and it sort of ties into the Yuji Naka meaning of Eggman kind of being what a human looks like from the animal's perspective. So you run into Metal Sonic, and he's wagging his finger at you. I've neglected to mention you've kind of seen little bits and pieces of Metasonic here. You don't see him personally, but throughout the levels, and you even get this in the first level if you take the right route, you see like projectors of him. So you're not just breaking generators. You can optionally go out and find these projectors that have Metasonic on them. And, you know, he looks like you, he's wagging his finger, he's got like all your mannerisms down. On a surface level, Metasonic looks like you, but he's completely, like, soulless and there's nothing inside. He's not at all like Sonic, and you see that. He's, like, stepping on the animals and kicking them around and just, you know, not being a very pleasant fella, you know what I mean? You know, you get that here as well. You see him and he's wagging his finger just like Sonic does. But he's, like, there's nothing in there. It's just a soulless, twisted reflection of Sonic, who is essentially your character. We'll get into that. So Sonic is sort of coerced into this race with Metasonic. You don't get any dialogue in this game, and thank fucking god, I cannot stand these characters nowadays. Sonic and Metasonic have to race to the end. The first one to the end gets Amy, and Sonic doesn't want Eggman or Metasonic getting to Amy, so he's sort of forced into this race. But he's Sonic, you know, so he wins, he's the main character or whatever. And Metasonic completely gets shafted at the end, so that's the end of him. Or is it? We lead into the final zone of the game, Metallic Madness, and this is where I think the bulk of Metasonic's like role in the story is. Despite you don't even see him in this zone, you get the most out of his character here. And I'm just gonna quickly say I am using the Japanese soundtrack because it's a Japanese game made by Japanese people. The songs were recorded and written by Japanese people. For all intents and purposes, the Japanese soundtrack is woven into this story. That's why, you know, you get You Can Do Anything, Cosmic Eternity, you get, you know, obviously the Japanese versions of these songs, and they tie directly into the themes of the games. As much as I like Sonic Boom and you know, the English or the American title Tempest, it's just kind of not it doesn't have anything to do with the actual story of the game, so, you know. But the main reason, obviously, is, if you don't know, Metallic Madness, The Bad Future. I don't even have any words for this, just take a listen. Hold on, alright, pause. Let's back up a little bit.
Don't do what Sonic does.
No, not that part. Go back.
Get some help.
Further.
You can do
That's one. Hey,
anything.
that's the one.
Okay, cool.
You can't do anything. That's not me saying that to you. Why is this in the track? I mean, it's a complete inversion of the main theme of the game. You can do anything. It's the song that plays at the very beginning of the game. It plays in the menus, it plays in like the power-up and the speed-up jingles, it plays when you get a game over, it plays in like the sound test and you get all this stuff. The main theme of this game is you can do anything. So right here, this lyric right here, you can't do anything, what does that mean? Why is this in the game? Why did they write this? Well, I mean, it's pretty clear. I think Metasonic here is he's not literally saying this, right? But the fact that it's a Metasonic kind of voice saying that you can't do anything, it's an inversion of Sonic. So, this is where we're going to get into things. Throughout the game, you can choose to really not give a shit and just go through and get all the bad futures go. It's the easier way to do things. And if you do that, you come to the bad future of Metallic Madness, where Metasonic said that you can't do anything. But if you take your time, you go back and you break all the generators, you secure those good futures, you don't get that. You only get you can do anything. Sonic is very clearly like an audience surrogate, which is a very rare thing for Sonic. In most games, Sonic is like a static character that you're not meant to relate to him. But in this game, your actions directly influence Sonic's actions. If you want to go through and do not put in the work and get the good future, if you just want to have an easy time going through the levels and then, you know, you finish the game, you get the bad ending, Sonic will do that. If you put in the effort, you do good ending, good stuff, You get the good ending and the good stuff. Sonic is a reflection of you in this game. He's the player character. So what does it say when the sort of primary antagonist, maybe not the primary one, but the sort of key antagonist, the face of the game, is a reflective, sort of dark inversion of you? I think Metal Sonic isn't just a reflection of Sonic, he's a reflection of you. If you're the kind of person who thinks, you know, I wanna save the environment, but it's so tough, you know? All these corporations are billowing through these natural spaces, and, you know, they're polluting thousands, hundreds of thousands of times more than anything I could save. I mean, what's the point? I can't do anything about this, right? The world is just screwed. What can I do? Nothing. Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, it's kind of a bummer thing to think about, but yeah, kind of. But if you just sort of give up and tell yourself that no, you can't do anything, then what good is that? You're not going to make any positive change, no matter how small. And then you become this. You become a complacent person. On the surface, I mean, you're still the exact same person you were before. You look the same, you have the same mannerisms. But, you know, on the inside, you lose that soul. You lose that, you know, reassurance that you're living in a good world, that you've put in your effort to provide for your environment, the people that you're with, the planet that you live on. I mean, you accept that you can't do anything. But that's not the theme of the game, is it? It's that you can do anything. It's that by putting in the work, you can make a good future. You can make a difference. But obviously, you know, I don't want to end on a gloomy note. This is a Sonic game. Everything always ends up all peachy and all nice. So Sonic, obviously, you know, he beats Metal Sonic, he beats Eggman, he broke all the generators, he got all the time stones, and Sonic grabs Amy, who is here, by the way, and leaves. And you get, like, this really nice little animated shot, like the intro of the planet, which is, you know, no longer robotic and industrialized, because of you. You fixed that. The planet sort of gives you a little sparkle swirl kind of thing. I don't know what that's about. I think it's meant to be like the planet is almost kind of thanking you for, you know, looking after it and, you know, securing a good future. And then it leaves. It goes off. It goes to do whatever it was going to do before. And then Sonic does the exact same. He moves on to another adventure. The core theme of the game is very similar to the Lorax. I talked about this before. I want to talk about it now. If you've read the story of the Lorax, it's very much like the greed of humanity and the greed of corporations. It's always, you want more. Nothing is ever enough. You just keep wanting more, and you want more, and you want more. It's securing those resources and paving over the world. All you really want is more and more and more and more. You get to the end, and it's just not enough. I mean, you have everything now, right? You've done it, you're successful, you have everything you could possibly want, and it's just not enough. You still feel really unfulfilled and unsatisfied. And then you look around and you see that this world is just kind of screwed, right? And it's your fault. If we keep going down this path, the world is just kind of screwed, and we don't want to live in a world like this. And so the story ends off on this sort of bittersweet note where the Onceler is telling you, the audience, through a surrogate character, that unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's gonna get changed. It's not. And that's very much the theme of Sonic CD, only it ends in a more positive way, where you do change the future, and the game says, you are too cool, you did a good job, buddy, yeah, pat on the back. And that's ultimately, I think, the theme of the game, and the theme of the story. It sort of ties in, it uses environmentalism, and it uses time travel to basically establish this theme and to inspire this kind of hope and this message into people that the first game kind of did a little bit with the sort of the subtext of, you know, clearing the pollution that Eggman causes on South Island and freeing the animals from being used as weapons or whatever. But this game really goes hard on it, and it's really sad because it's the last time the Sonic series really focuses on this theme. Yeah. I don't know, what's next for me, I can't say. I think if I just say, hey, next time I'm gonna do the story of Sonic Adventure 2, I'm not gonna do it, and you guys are gonna be waiting for another, like, 3 years. So, I'm just gonna say, I have some ideas kicking around. I've been thinking about the story of Black Knight, because there is aspects of that I think a lot of people miss as well. And also, the sword is voiced by Sanji in the Japanese, and I know of people that just that alone will make them want to. But yeah, I mean, I've got nothing else really to say. I think Sonic CD is a pretty dang cool story. But that's all from me. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you around.